Every Yeti needs a place to live. All right, so the question was, what is the best platform to make an email list on? Which is actually a really good question, because the answer really is it doesn't fucking matter. But there's a reason why it doesn't fucking matter, and it's an important reason, which is the key is just to be out there making the list. So the list is what's really important, but which platform it is, it really doesn't matter. I mean, probably the easiest way to go, I would say, would be with some kind of Google CRM, any CRM. If you're comfortable with one, that's the one to use, and then use that with an email platform like SendGrid or MailChimp or Aweber or any of them. It really doesn't matter again. But what's important is that you segment it and that you target it. And then most important is really to retarget. So in other words, if you're sending to a list and the list isn't really responding, you've got to figure out what's going on. This happens to me when I'm doing e-commerce. This happens all the time. I'll send 200 and sometimes nobody will open it. You get 0 or you'll get 2 or something ridiculous. And then other campaigns, you'll get, a quarter of the people will click on your links and half of them will open it. So, you've got to figure out what that difference is. And the best way to kind of hit a campaign and make people respond is to retarget and super target. So in other words, to segment it, for example, we sell scissors, 5-blade scissors. So if I have people who I know are interested in herbs and herb gardens and cooking and stuff, then when I put something scissor based in front of them, they're interested because it's a super subset, and then from a marketing perspective, if I do something like, say I want to sell our cellulite cream, which has neroli extract in it, which is not super common. We're probably the only one in the business who uses that particular recipe, uses that particular cure-all. So if I'm running something educating people about what it is, about what neroli extract is, and about the Duchess of Neroli and how she put it on her gloves and how it comes from the Seville orange blossom, and if I'm just getting people to like that particular object and story, then if I'm able to target a list of people who want to lose cellulite, and that list is already educated that neroli is awesome and kind of a cure-all, then all I really have to do is say this cream contains this neroli and they're already interested in it. So that's a way to super sub-segment, and I think that's the real key. So the answer to the question is any email list really will do. You could put it on a spreadsheet if you want. It doesn't really matter. And I think whatever you use, the real key thing is that the list is what's important, not the deliverer. So in other words, if you're using MailChimp, you're using a free service and you start to outgrow it, just make sure you take your list and download it into a CSV file and put it on, Google spreadsheets, Google Sheets, and have it. That way, if you ever switch to a CRM, you can just immediately upload it. Or if you switch to a different email list, you can immediately upload it. I think that's really the key thing, is to just own your list and make sure that you own it. Not, it's not just on Instagram and then one day your Instagram account is shut and you lost your entire list. You want to make sure you own your own list. I think that's really important. That's probably the number one mistake I made, is that I got very dependent on Amazon and Amazon's Messenger, which in the old days, when it was the Wild West, we were able to take our messages and offer coupons and get reviews and get more customers and get repeat buyers through it. And then they just took that all away from us. They kept it for themselves. And then we realized we don't really have that much of a list. I probably had 500 people when I was probably selling, to 500 people a month, maybe 10 times that. I don't know. We did so well in the beginning. But anyway, I don't have that list because I didn't keep it. I left it on another site. And then when they took it away from us, they used to give us phone numbers. We used to be able to call. That's all gone. So things change. These companies definitely change what access you get or how much it costs for said access. So an old-fashioned CSV with all of your emails and names and, a note about them, that's probably the best thing in the world. But I would definitely recommend using a CRM. That way you can manage it easily. And then using something, SendGrid's really good to go with a CRM. And it's a pretty seamless connection. But I think all of them do that. If you have questions of how to make things talk to each other, I definitely have the answer for you, because I've worked on that for years now. So just, DM me, contact me privately and tell me which things you're using, and I'll tell you how to do it. There's a lot of ways to make things speak to each other and talk to each other, and it makes things, automating things make things a lot easier. So that's my number one, thing. I'm a huge believer in automating everything. So I had one more thing I wanted to tell you, which is, I'm losing my train of thought, which is, I totally forgot. What was the question? Let me check the question again. Oh, I was going to tell you my own system. So because I work for Compass, I have, Compass gives us their CRM, which I think is pretty much Google CRM. And we are able to then sync that with, any kind of mail thing, such as SendGrid. That's what they gave us in the beginning. But we're also able to use the CRM itself to send the mail. So, a lot of things offer that. That makes a lot of sense. I also use a text service called Avocado, but there's 1,000 of them. And that lets me take everybody's information and text them. So I can text blast them. I can say, everybody who has contacted me about a certain rental, I could put on one list, or everybody who, has been looking in East Flatbush, I can put in one list and I can target them, or all home buyers, I can hit them all at once, or just everybody. I can hit the entire list, no matter where they came from, and just say Merry Christmas, for example. And that's another really good way. I think personally, I like that more than email. I just kind of got sick of email, but it doesn't really matter. And probably the best way to do it is to hit in all realms. In other words, to call people, to email them, and also to text them, because then you really can't go wrong. And then you also figure out what people like, and then you just text them if they like text, or you email them if they like email, or you call them if they like to be called. So that's really the simplest answer I have. And like I said, if anybody has how do you use Aweber with, such and such software, just contact me and we can work that out. All right. The point is, get a list, because the list is Russell Brunson, who's, from ClickFunnels, an awesome marketer, could sell anything, could sell ice in the winter type. He says every person on your list is worth $5 a month. And I think that's about true. So in other words, if you have 1,000 people on your list, you should be making $5,000 a month. And if you have 10,000 people on your list, you should be making $50,000 a month. So if you think of it that way, it really, really shows you the benefit of building that list and owning it yourself. All right, this is Ralph from Yeti Homes. You see the Yeti in the back. That's our company buying real estate. We're currently on the 10 unit in Spring Park in Jacksonville. So check the Instagram if you want to see photos. We've had all kinds of troubles, we've had all kinds of successes already. It's a total roller coaster ride. And I'd love people to get involved and tell me what they think. Awesome. Enjoy.